You want to lay your head down? Do you? Do you want to lay your head down? I bet it'll be nice. You'll get a nice nap. It'll feel good. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. All right. Good morning. Hey, how's everyone doing? Everyone feeling good? Did everyone have a nice day off yesterday? If you had the day off, I obviously did not, but that's okay. Ooh. That was quite a toot, huh? That was quite a toot. Is it empty? No. This is not empty. But it's about to be. Hi! Good morning, everybody. What do we want? Hey, Gigi. What are we good lucky? I don't know what happened. You did in fact read it. Very good. Good morning. I had to change that since now all our regulars have read it. I need to post in there with something new funny. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe every day I should post something funny there for the regulars, and then the non-regulars will just be confused. But it's funny anyway. You're folding tiny clothes. That's sweet. Alright, let's try this one. I haven't tried this one yet. This is a new espresso pod that I haven't tried yet. It's called Active Plus. It's supposed to have like vitamins and stuff in it. So let's see if it makes me feel really good. You know, let's see. Whenever anything's kind of funny. Yeah, it is kind of funny. I mean, there's also, like I said, it's true of everyone who's not a regular. Oh, don't pop your seat. Don't pop your seat. No, no, no. No, no, no. Don't pop your seat. Don't pop your seat. No, no, no. No, no, no. Can we fold this over so that you chew on this instead of on the rack? What do you think? What do you think? Don't pop your seat. I can't remember what it said, Amanda. Let me see if it says on here. Oh wait, shoot, it's just a double espresso. Oh, vitamin B6. It's just an espresso though, it's not a full coffee. I'll have to add more to it. I mean, it's still good, I'm sure, but I'll have to add something to it because that's not going to be enough. But for me, it's going to be too small. But that's okay. I'll just like add a Bianco Doppio to it or something. I guess I should read before doing that. Yeah, it should give you a boost, right? Yeah. Let's put this in the trash. Alright, so do you guys want to hear a funny story? It's actually not funny at all, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So this actually not funny at all, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So this morning, we did all of our normal things, and then she had breakfast just a few minutes ago, and she fell asleep, which was great. Yeah, she fell asleep. Yes, definitely eat a food. So she fell asleep, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Book club starts in 5 minutes, and she's asleep. I'm gonna toss her in a wrap, and we're gonna have a good old nap. Everything was phenomenal. And then, for reasons unbeknownst to me and everyone on this planet, Secret Husband's alarm went off. Why his alarm went off an hour early, I don't know. But guess who it woke up? So she got a 3.5-minute nap. Yeah. And I said, honey, you're gonna have to turn off that alarm. And she looked at me and she went, good morning. And I went, there we go. So that's how it's going for us today. She was like, good morning. And I was like, you know what? Ridiculous. Thank you, Julia. Thank you. Hi. But what about sleep? What about sleep, huh? What do you think about some sleep, huh? You think no about sleep? Mommy thinks yes about sleep. You didn't sleep very much last night, so it'd be fun for you to sleep now. Maybe she will give Grease another try later. Yes. Yes, maybe we'll give Grease another try later. Summer lovin' had me a blast. Summer lovin' happened so fast. I met a boy, cute as can be. Met a girl, wait, that's backwards. I met a girl crazy for me. Met a boy, cute as can be. Summer days drifting away, but all the summer nights. Oh well, oh well, oh well, oh. Tell me more, was it love at first sight? Tell me more, did she put up a fight? Ba-da-ba-doo, ba-da-ba-doo, ba-da-ba-doo-doo-doo. We went strolling, drank lemonade. Wait, no, I'm doing this backwards. Why do I know it backwards? Isn't he first? We went strolling. I don't remember the lyrics. I've lost all sense of how to sing this song, which is shocking news considering it's me. And I've seen Grease all of my childhood, and I know it very well. Yeah. What are we doing? Why is Mommy's brain a mess? 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 A mess. A mess. Yay, mess. She does sing about lemonade. She said, we went strolling, drank lemonade. We made out under the dock. We stayed out till 10 o'clock. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, definitely, Gigi. That's correct. You are right about that. You are right about that. Yes. Okay. That hurt. Oh, that hurt. Mommy hit her shin on the coffee table and it hurt. Oh, yes, it did. It hurt very bad. It hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. It did. It hurt so bad, bad. You do not seem like you're going to sleep, so maybe you want to go in your bouncy. What do you think, huh? Yeah, you want to go in your bouncy? Okay. Mommy will take you out so you can go in the bouncy. So much for that nap, huh? Yeah, took her bowling in the arcade. We went strolling, drank lemonade. We made out Oh no, thank you, Gigi. I'm glad that someone noticed that. You have to do it at some point, right, Gigi? It was in my face, I might as well. Use it as a microphone, huh? It's a good foot. It's a good foot. Thank you for all of you helping me remember the lyrics to a song that I've known literally my whole life and only just forgot because I haven't slept in forever. Yeah. Okay. Well, nom 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 the foot. Oh wait, they're such good feet, right? Such good feet. Do you have such good feet? What did you start watching Grease age-wise? I have no idea because my mom started playing musicals in our house when I was like born. And Grease was my older cousin's favorite, so I'm sure they were playing it when I was 1, 2, whatever. My first memories of it, I was 7 or 8, but that doesn't mean that's the first time I saw it. Yeah, early in our house though, Amanda, because we saw musicals very early. I would say 10 to 13 is appropriate, but that doesn't mean that's what happened in our home. I think, because I remember the house we were living in the first time I saw Grease 2, I couldn't have been more than 9 because my brother was still a baby. And that's Grease 2. Rocky Horror at 8. See, there you go. That's probably about the same. Though I will tell you all, I was pretty much raised on Mickey and Judy musicals and Shirley Temple movies. So that's a little bit more age appropriate, right? Right? Are we learning all the Shirley Temple songs, my sweet girl? I've been trying to teach her all the Shirley Temple songs. Should we tell, which one do you like the best? Which one? Good smile. Yeah, which one do you like the best? You want to say, oh, we're drooling. That's what we're going to say. We're going to say drooly. But that's why you have this drool cloth. If you just keep it right here underneath all your chins. Yeah, keep it right there. There you go. And then you chew on this. See? All good. Grease from birth, for sure. Robocop, that's amazing. I love that it corrected it to Robin cough. Okay, so, yeah. She pretty much loves when I sing the Animal Crackers song and I do the little, like, gushies on her belly, you know? Animal crackers in my soup, monkeys and rabbits loop-de-loop. Oh gosh, oh gee, but I have fun swallowing animals one by one. In every bowl of soup I eat, monkeys and tigers watching me. I stuff my tummy like a zoo with animal crackers in my soup. Yeah, you like that one? She does. She likes that song. She like gets all giggly whenever I do that one. You like the Animal Crackers song? You're gonna love Animal Crackers one day. Can't eat them right now, but soon. Maybe like 4 months, maybe less. Probably less. 2 months? Something like that? I don't know. We'll see. When are you gonna start sitting up on your own? I don't know. You're getting close though. I can feel it. Yeah. Okay, are you ready to read? Because we gotta read today. The cover is very fun. Me too, Christina. Me too. And the circus animal ones, the pink ones with the sprinkles. Oh. Yum. Yum. Yummy. Stop saying hey in the oh yes, hello Jack. Checking in on your kiddos. How are they doing with their reading? Circus animals are delicious. I wish that Chalk Zero would make a sugar-free version of those for me specifically. I know. Oh, okay, for you too. Okay, I'm sorry, not trying to be selfish, but technically you can have sugar. I mean, I'm not going to give you a lot of it, but like technically you can have it. You're not like mommy. We assume. We actually don't know. Maybe you do have the same issues mommy has. Who knows? We won't know until you're a big girl because they can't exactly test for it when you're a baby. No, they can't. How would they? All of the tests are grown-up things. So, for now, we can just assume you don't have the same issue. I think I've had them, Amanda. I think they are good. They made these new things called like breakfast biscuits or whatever. So good, you guys. They came in my last keto crate. So delicious. Like really, really good. I was like, they're like slightly blueberry oatmeal flavored. Really good. Yeah. I will be buying those again. They're doing pretty good. We had to take a small break because I got stupid unpassable. You too? That's 3. Ugh. They are actually, Amanda, I have to say, they're quite delicious. Quite delicious. Okay, but let's read, shall we? Okay. Because we have a doctor's appointment today, unfortunately. We have to get a shot. Ugh. Luckily, it's only 1 today, but we do still have to get one. But it's only 1 today. 1 is good. 1's not bad. 1, maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe it won't hurt so much. The last one was a stingy one, and you really hated the stingy one, huh? I hated that for you. Mommy cried with you. I know. We both cried. Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to read chapter 8 now. Shall we read chapter 8? What do you think? I'm going to move this back so that I can lean closer to you and you'll be happy, but I won't be so close to the camera. How do you feel about that? Does that feel good to you? Uh-huh. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 8. Oh, have fun, Laisa. Clemencia gave a blood-curdling scream, shaking her hand madly to rid it of the vipers. The tiny puncture wounds left by their fangs oozed the neon color of their skins. Can you imagine this for a second? Imagine for a moment you have done what your teacher told you. Neon snakes bit you, and now your hand is oozing the color of their skin. I would panic beyond belief. My God. Ugh. I don't even want to read this next sentence. Pus dyed bright pink, yellow, and blue dripped down her fingers. Yucky. Yeah, that face was about right. Lab assistants in white jackets materialized. 2 pinned Clemencia to the floor, while a 3rd injected her with a scary-looking hypodermic needle filled with a black fluid. Her lips turned purple and then bloodless before she passed out. I know. The assistants dropped her onto a stretcher and whisked her away. Can you believe that? They whisked her away. Yeah. Here, do you need help getting this? Here, it's right here. Here, it's right here. They took away Clemencia. These mentors dropping like flies, you guys. They are dropping like flies. Coriolanus began to follow them, but Dr. Gall stopped him with her voice. No, not you, Mr. Snow. You stay here. He stammered. Will she die? Anyone's guess, said Dr. Gall. She dipped her hand back into the tank and was lightly trailing her gnarled fingers over her pets. Clearly, her scent was not on the paper. So, you wrote the proposal alone. I did. There was no point in lying now. Lying had probably killed Clemencia. Obviously, he was dealing with a lunatic who should be handled with extreme care. Well, good. The truth, finally. I have no use for liars. What are lies but attempts to conceal some sort of weakness? If I see that side of you again, I'll cut you off. If Dean Highbottom pushes you for it, I won't stand in his way. Punishes you for it. I won't stand in his way. Do you understand? Are we clear? She wrapped one of the pink snakes around her wrist like a bracelet, and she seemed to be admiring it. Yeah, very clear, said Coriolanus. It's good, though. Your proposal, she said. Well thought out and simple to execute. I'm going to recommend my team review it and implement the version of the first stage. Yeah. Yeah? You have more to say? Yeah? What's the matter, honey? Oh, tell us more. Is it because I mentioned that you're getting a shot? And now you're upset? Yeah, you're upset about that. I would be upset too. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Tell me everything. Okay, and then? Yeah? What then? Okay. And then? Oh, bless you. Bless you very much. Do you need help with this? Here, it's right here. There you go, see? There you go. Yeah? I I know you're tired. I can see it in your eyes. Yeah, you're happy tired though. You're smiling. It's really cute, right? It's really cute to listen to her talk. She has a lot to say. She has a lot to say. Do you have a lot to say? Yeah? You are so sleepy. She's like this. You know? She is fighting it. You are. You can close your eyes. Mommy's rocking you. You're being rocked. Yeah. Yeah, you are. Let it go, my angel. Yeah, let it go. Oh, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Don't fight your sleep anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Close your eyes. It wasn't good. I know. I know. You don't have to tell me. I know it wasn't good. Yeah, I know. Okay, should we keep going then? All right, said Coriolanus, afraid to make more than the blandest of responses, surrounded as he was by lethal creatures that did her bidding. Okay, you want out? Do you want out? Do you want out? Do you need out? Out? I need this if you're gonna come out though, because you're gonna drool all over me. All over me. Yeah, I see the drool already. Is that a big drool bubble? Is that a big drool bubble? Yeah. You want to be rocked? Yeah. Is that what you need? You're so tired. You want to tuck your feet back into your sling? Will you feel comfy if you're back in your sling? Yeah. What about that? Is it like a little blankie? Yeah. Oh, that's so nice, huh? That's so nice. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Dr. Gall. Dr. Gall laughed. Oh, go home, or go see your friend if she's still there to see. It's time for my crackers and milk. Coriolanus hurried off, bumping into a lizard tank and sending its inhabitants into a frenzy. He made a wrong turn, and then another, and found himself in the ghoulish section of the lab where the glass cases housed humans with animal parts grafted onto their bodies. Tiny feathered ruffs were around their necks, talons or even tentacles in place of fingers, and something, perhaps gills, embedded in their chests. His appearance startled them, and when a few opened their mouths to plead with him, he realized that they were all avoxes. Their cries reverberated, and he caught a glimpse of a small black bird perched above them. The name Jabberjay popped into his mind. A brief chapter in his genetics class. The failed experiment, the bird that could repeat human speech and had been used as a tool for espionage until the rebels had figured out its abilities and sent it back carrying false information. Now the useless creatures were creating an echo chamber filled with the pitiful Avox wails. Ugh, that sounds terrible. Finally, a woman in a lab coat and oversized pink bifocals intercepted him, scolded him for disturbing the birds, and escorted him back to the elevator. As he waited, a security camera blinked down at him, and he compulsively tried to smooth out the lone crumpled page of his proposal that he had crushed in his hand. Peacekeepers met him above, returned both his and Clemencia's book bags, and marched him out of the citadel. Coriolanus made it down to the street and around the corner before his legs gave way and he dropped onto the curb. The sun was hurting his eyes and he couldn't seem to catch his breath. He was exhausted, having not slept the night before. He was hyper with adrenaline. What had just happened? Was Clemencia dead? Had he not begun to come to terms? He had not yet come to terms with Arcane's violent end, and now there was this. It was like the Hunger Games, only they weren't district kids. The capital was supposed to protect them. He thought of Sejanus telling Dr. Gall that it was just the government's job to protect everybody, even the people in the districts, but he still wasn't sure how to square that with the fact that they had been such recent enemies. Still, certainly, the child of a snow could be top priority. He could be dead if Clemencia had written the proposal instead of him. So he buried his head in his hands, confused, angry, and most of all, afraid of Dr. Gall.
afraid of the Capitol, afraid of everything. If the people who were supposed to protect you played so fast and loose with your life, how did you survive? This is interesting, right? Okay. This is Coriolanus Snow, who we all know from reading the first 3 books is going to go on to be the president of Panem. And I'm going to read that line once more because it's really poignant, right? If the people who were supposed to protect you played so fast and loose with your life, then how did you survive? Not by trusting him, that's for sure. And if you couldn't trust them, who could you trust? All bets were off. Coriolanus nodded up at the memory of the snake fangs sinking into flesh. Poor Clemmy. Could she really be dead, and in that nightmarish way? And if she was it his fault for not calling her out for lying? It seemed like such a minor infraction, but would Dr. Gall place blame on him for covering for her? And if she died, he could be in all kinds of trouble. He guessed that in an emergency, a person would be taken to the nearby Capitol Hospital, so he found himself running in its direction. Once inside the cool entrance hall, he followed the signs to the emergency room. Yeah, are you chewing on your fingers? Yeah. As soon as the automated doors slid open, he could hear Clemencia screaming just as she had when the snake bit her. Well, at least she was still alive. He babbled something to the nurse at the counter, and she made enough sense of it to have him take a seat, and just as a wave of dizziness hit him. Sorry, that was poorly read. He must have looked terrible because she brought him 2 packets of nutritional crackers and a glass of sweet, fizzy lemon drink. When he tried to sip it, he ended up gulping it down, longing for a refill. The sugar made him feel a bit better, although not enough to try the crackers, which he pocketed for later. By the time the attending doctor emerged from the back, he was almost in control of himself, and the doctor reassured him that they had treated victims of lab mishaps before. Since the antidote had been swiftly administered, there was every reason to believe that Clemencia would survive, although there might be some neurological damage. If he checked back in a few days, she might be ready for visitors. Coriolanus thanked the doctor and handed over her book bag and agreed. Oops, sorry about that. Handed over her book bag and agreed when he suggested that the best thing would be to return home. As he retraced his steps to the entrance, he spotted Clemencia's parents rushing in his direction and managed to conceal himself in a doorway. He didn't know that the Dovecotes had been told, but he had no interest in talking to them, especially before he worked out his story. The lack of a plausible story, preferably one that had absolved him of being an accessory of her condition, made his return to school or even home impossible. Sorry, guys. Oh, you know what? We don't sing that song here. Sorry, we don't have any religion in our house, so we don't sing that song to her. We don't want her to know that one. Let's see, where was I? Where was I? There we go. Tigress would not be home until supper at the earliest, and then Grandmama would be horrified by his situation. Strangely, he found the only person he wanted to talk to was Lucy Gray, who was both clever and unlikely to repeat his words. His feet carried him to the zoo before he really considered the difficulties that he would encounter there. A pair of impressively armed peacekeepers were on guard at the main entrance, with several more milling around behind them. At first, they waved him away. Instructions were to allow no visitors into the zoo, but Coriolanus played the mentor card, and at this point, some of them recognized him as the boy who tried to save Arcane. His celebrity was enough to convince them to call in a request for an exception. The peacekeeper spoke to Dr. Gall directly, and Coriolanus could hear her distinctive cackle shooting through the phone, even as he stood several yards away. He was allowed in with a peacekeeper, but only for a short time. Trash from the fleeing crowd was still strewn all along the path to the monkey house. Dozens of rats darted about, gnawing on leftovers from bits of rotten food to shoes lost in the panic. Although the sun was high, several raccoons foraged, scooping up tidbits in their clever little hands. One chewed on a dead rat, warning the others to give it a wide berth. Now, we're going to pause for 2 seconds so that I can fix this sling, because we have completely messed up. Yes, Lucy, I do, but right now I am only working on my Patreon until probably later in June. So you're more than welcome to join my Patreon to get some slime, but other than that, there won't be a public restock until later. So I'm only working on my Patreon folks for now, because as you can see, the baby takes up a lot of my energy. You're totally welcome, Lucy, no problem at all. Okay, let's reconfigure ourselves. Let's reconfigure ourselves, shall we? Let's scooch a little. I gotta scooch. Yeah. Let's remake our seat. Let's remake our seat. Yeah, that's better, huh? Is that better, my angel? Yeah. Okay. That's better. That's better. Now you're all nice and secure, huh? Are we secure now? Yeah. 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 Okay. Here's a pillow. Oh yeah, me too, Lucy. It's one of my favorites. Are you popping your seat, my sweet baby? Are you popping your seat? Yeah. Let's fix it then. Let's fix it so it doesn't pop. Yeah. Yeah. Let's fix it. It's okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. Is that better? Are you cozy now? You need a pillow, huh? So you don't hit the rings. Don't pop your seat. Don't pop your seat. I know, she definitely needs the mist nap. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, Gigi. I also need the mist nap. Okay. Not the zoo I remember, said the peacekeeper. Nothing but kids in cages and vermin running loose. At points along the path, Coriolanus could see small containers of white powder tucked under boulders or against walls. He remembered the poison used by the capital during the siege. A little time with food... Oh. What's the matter, honey? What's the matter? I know, you want mommy to pat you. I know. Let's see. Where was I? He remembered the poison used by the capital during the siege, a time with little food but plenty of rats. Humans, particularly dead ones, had become their daily fare. During the worst of it, of course, humans had eaten humans as well. There was no point in feeling superior to the rats. Is that rat poison? He asked the peacekeeper. Yep, some new stuff they're trying out today. But the rats are so smart they won't even go near it, he shrugged. It's what they gave us to work with anyway. Inside the cage, the tributes, shackled again, pressed against the back wall or positioned themselves behind the rock formations as if trying to make themselves as inconspicuous as possible. Oh, I know, baby wearing is so great, right? It's my favorite thing. You better keep your distance, said the peacekeeper. Your girlie isn't a likely threat, but honestly, who knows? Another might attack you. You gotta stay back where they can't touch you. Coriolanus nodded and went to his usual rock, but remained standing behind it. He didn't feel threatened by the tributes. They were the least of his problems, but he didn't want to give Dean Highbottom any other excuse to punish him. At first, he couldn't locate Lucy Gray, and then he made eye contact with Jessup, who sat propped up against the back wall, holding what appeared to be the Snow's handkerchief to his neck. Jessup gave something beside him a shake, and Lucy Gray sat up with a start. For a moment, she seemed disoriented. Oh, we did it. When she spotted Coriolanus, she wiped the sleep from her eyes and combed her loose hair back with her fingers. She lost her balance as she rose and began to reach out to catch herself on Jessup's arm. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Did I wake you up? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Okay. Well, you don't have to pop the seat, honey. You can keep your seat and then you can sleep. Yeah. You can keep your seat and then you can sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Here. Oh, my seat popping baby. Why are you seat popping today? Why are we seat popping today?
Why? Why are we seat hopping today, honey? Why? Why? Yeah, you need your nap. You need a nap. You need a nap. You need a nap. For a moment, she seemed disoriented. She spotted Coriolanus and she wiped the sleep from her eyes and combed the loose hair back with her fingers. She lost her balance as she rose and reached out on her to catch herself on Jessup's arm. Still unsteady, she began to make her way across the cage to him, dragging her chains with her. Was it the heat? Was it the trauma of the killing? Hunger, maybe? Since the capital wasn't feeding the tributes, she had nothing since Arcane's murder, and she'd vomited up the precious food from the crowd then, and probably his bread pudding and the apple from that morning as well. So she'd gone almost 5 days on a meatloaf sandwich and a plum. He was going to have to find a way to get her more to eat, even if it was just their cabbage soup. When she crossed the waterless moat, he held up a cautionary hand. I'm sorry, we can't get close. Lucy Gray stopped a few feet from the bars. Well, surprised you got in at all. Her throat, her skin, and her hair, everything seemed patched in the hot sun. A bad bruise on her arm had not been there the previous night. Who had hit her? Was it another tribute, possibly? I didn't mean to wake you, he said. She shrugged. Oh, it's nothing. Jessup and I turned sleeping. The capital rats have a taste for people. The rats are trying to eat you? Coriolanus asked, revolted at the thought. Well, something bit Jessup's neck the first night that we were in here. Too dark to see what, but he did mention fur. And last night, something crawled over my leg. She indicated a container of white powder by the bars. That stuff doesn't do a lick of good. Coriolanus had a terrible image of her lying under a swarm of rats. It wiped away the last shred of resilience that he had, and despair engulfed him. For her, for him, for both of them. Oh, Lucy Gray, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry about all of this. Oh, it's not your fault, she said. You must hate me. I mean, you should. I would hate me, he said. I don't hate you. The Hunger Games weren't your idea, she replied. Yeah, but I'm participating in them. I'm helping them happen. His head dropped in shame. I should be like Sejanus. I should at least try to quit. No, don't. Please don't. Don't leave me to go through this alone. She took a step toward him and almost fainted. Her hands caught on the bar and she slid down to the ground. Ignoring the guard's warning, he impulsively stepped over the rock and crouched down across the bars from her. Are you all right? And she nodded, but she didn't look all right. He wanted to tell her about the scar with the snakes and Clemencia's brush with death. He hoped to ask her advice, but it all paled in comparison to her situation. He remembered the crackers the nurse had given him and fumbled for the packets in his pocket. Hey, look, I brought you these. They're not much, and they're not even big, but they're very nutritious. That sounded stupid. How could their nutritional value even matter to her? He realized that he was just parroting what his teachers said during the war when one of the incentives for going to school had been a free snack provided by the government. The scratchy, tasteless things washed down with water were all some kids had to eat most days. He remembered their little claw-like hands tearing the wrapping and desperate crunching that followed. Lucy Gray immediately ripped open a packet and stuffed one of the 2 crackers into her mouth, chewing and swallowing the dry thing with difficulty. She pressed a hand against her stomach and sighed and ate the second one more slowly. Food seemed to focus her, and her voice sounded calmer. Thanks, she said. That is better. Eat the others, he urged, nodding to the second packet, and she shook her head. No, I'll save these for Jessup. He's my ally now. Your ally? Coriolanus was perplexed. How could you have an ally in these games? The tributes from District 12 are going to go down together, said Lucy Gray. He's not the brightest star in the dipper, but he's strong as an ox. 2 crackers seemed a small price to pay for Jessup's protection. All right, well, I'll get you more to eat as soon as I can. It looks like people are going to be allowed to send food to the arena. It's official now. That'd be good. More food would be good. She leaned her head forward and rested it on the bars. Then, like you said, it might make sense to sing. It might make people want to help me. No, there's no such thing as no glue and no activator slime. No. At the interview, he suggested, you could sing that Valley song again. Yeah, maybe. Her brow furrowed in thought. They're showing this in all of Pan Am or just in the capital? All Pan Am, I think, he answered. But you won't get anything from the districts. No, not expecting to. That's not the point, she said. Maybe I will sing, though. Be better with a guitar or something.
I can try to find you one. Not that the Snows had any kind of instruments except for the grandmamma's daily anthem in his mother's long-ago bedtime songs. There had been very little music in his life until Lucy Gray appeared. He rarely listened to the capital's radio broadcast, which mostly played marches and propaganda songs. Those all sounded the same to him. Hey, the peacekeeper waved at him from the path. That's too close. Time's up anyway. Coriolanus rose. I better go if I want them to let me in again. Sure, yeah, and thanks for the crackers and all, Lucy Gray said, grasping at the bars to struggle to her feet. He reached through the bar to help her up. No, it's nothing. Not to you, maybe, she said, but it's meant the world having someone show up here like I matter. You do matter, he said. Well, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary on that. She rattled her chains and she gave them a tug, and then, as if remembering something, she looked up at the sky. Hey, look, you matter to me, he said. The capital may not value her, but he did. Hadn't he just poured his heart out to her? It's time to go, Mr. Snow, the peacekeeper called. You matter to me, Lucy Gray. He repeated this, and his words drew her eyes back to him, but she still seemed distant. Look, kid, don't make me report you, said the peacekeeper. Look, I gotta go. Coriolanus started to leave. Hey, she said with a certain urgency, and he turned back. Hey, I want you to know I really do believe that you aren't here for grades or glory. You're a rare bird, Coriolanus. Yeah, you too, he said. And she dipped her head in agreement and headed back to Jessup, her chains leaving a trail in the dirty straw and rat droppings. And when she reached her partner, she lay down and curled up in a ball, as if exhausted by this brief encounter. Twice he tripped on his way out of the zoo, and he recognized that he was too tired to come up with any solutions to anything. It was late enough now that his arrival at home wouldn't seem suspicious, so he headed back to the apartment. He had the misfortune to bump into his classmate Persephone Price, the daughter of the infamous Nero Price, who once cannibalized a maid. They ended up walking together since they were neighbors. She'd been assigned to mentor Mizzen, a sturdy 13-year-old boy from District 4, and so she had been present when he and Clemencia had been called from class. He dreaded any discussion of the proposal, but she was still too distraught over Arcane's death to talk about anything else. Usually, he avoided Persephone altogether because he could never help but wondering if she had known the ingredients of her wartime stew. For some time, he felt afraid of her, but now she only inspired disgust, no matter how many times he reminded himself of her innocence. With her dimples and hazel green eyes, she was prettier than any other girl in his year, with the possible exception of Clemencia. Well, pre-snakebite Clemencia. You don't ever have to be sorry, Isabella. No worries. But the idea of kissing her repulsed him. Even now, she gave him a tearful hug goodbye, and all he could think of was that severed leg. Coriolanus dragged himself up the stairs, his thoughts darker than ever at the memory of the poor maid collapsed from the hunger in the streets. How long could he expect Lucy Gray to last? She was fading fast, weak and distracted, injured and broken, but most of all, slowly starving to death. By tomorrow, she might not be able to stand, and if he didn't find a way to feed her, she would be dead before the Hunger Games even began. What'd you say, Jen? I want to see it. Let's see. Yeah, it is a Snow specialty. All right, so she seems to be asleep, which means we can read the next chapter after I manage to pick up my coffee, which is down there. Let's see if we can do it. Can I reach it without bending over? I did it, you guys. I reached it without bending over. I did it. I can't survive without it. I'm sorry. I had to do it. All right. Yeah. Thank you guys. I'm trying, right? Trying. Ray, were you here to see my wild reconfiguring of this sling while I was holding her? We call that baby wearing skills, right? Ray has been my you guys, I don't know if you guys know this. I think I've told you guys before, but Ray gave me my first like woven wrap, and so I consider her like my baby wearing mom. Essentially, she's not old enough to be my mom, but like and so I consider her like my baby wearing mom. Essentially, she's not old enough to be my mom, but like but
I've been bothering her like crazy. Poor Ray has to put up with DMs from me every single day, sending her pictures going, does this look right? Is this good? Do you like this wrap? Is this pretty? Poor Ray. Yeah, mentor. That's a better word. Mentor, not mom. Mentor. But like, you know, in like the drag queen world, they consider whoever introduced them to the thing like their like drag mom. So she's my baby wearing mom. You know what I mean? Like in that way. Even if their drag friend is their same age, they still call them their mom. You know what I mean? I think Ray is almost my age. We're about the same age. So so not mom in the birthing sense, but mom in the introductory sense. Yes, she was my gateway. Yes. For me, getting to see extra babies, yes, exactly. But it's true. Ray puts up with a lot of me. Okay, so yes, drag mother. That's exactly right. Let's read chapter 9 while this baby is asleep. Let's take advantage. Yeah. When he reached the apartment, the grandmama took one look at him and suggested a nap before supper. He fell on his bed, feeling too stressed to ever sleep again. The next thing he knew, Tigress was gently shaking his shoulder. A tray on his night table gave off the comforting smell of noodle soup. Sometimes the butcher would give her a chicken carcass for free, and she boiled them into something wonderful. I'm not sure, Isabella. It's going to depend on how her doctor's appointment goes and how she reacts to her vaccine that she has to get today. If she handles it well and she feels good, then yeah, I'll be live tonight. But if she's having like a sad I need mommy day because of her vaccine, then I'll stick with her. Corio. Oh, sorry, wait, that's Tigress. Corio, she said. Satria is called 3 times, and I can't think of any more excuses for you. Come on, you need to eat supper and call her back. Did she ask about Clemencia? Does everyone know? He blurted out. Clemencia? Dovecote? No. Why would she ask about her? Tigress asked. Oh, God, it was so awful. And he told her the whole story in its gory detail. As he spoke, the color left her face. Dr. Gall made the snakes bite her over a little white lie like that? Yeah, she did. And she didn't care at all whether Clemmy survived, he said. Just shooed me out of there so that she could get her afternoon snack. That's sadistic, or completely demented, said Tigress. Should you report her, do you think? To who? She's the head game maker, he said. She works directly with the president. She'd say it was our fault for lying. Tigress thought it over. All right, well then don't report her or confront her. Just avoid her as much as possible. That's hard as a mentor. She keeps showing up at the academy to play with this rabbit mutt and ask a lot of crazy questions. One word from her could make or break my prize. He rubbed his face with his hands. And Arcane's dead, and Clemencia's full of venom, and Lucy Gray, well, that's another really awful story. I doubt that she'll even make it into the games, but maybe that's for the best. Tigress tucked a spoon into his hand. Look, eat your soup. We've gotten through worse than this. Snow lands on top. Snow lands on top, he said with so little conviction that they had to laugh. It made him feel a bit more normal. He took a few bites of soup to please her, and then realized that he was starving and made short work of it. When Satria called again, he almost launched into a confession, but it turned out that all she wanted was to ask him to sing the anthem at Arcane's funeral in the morning. He almost launched into a confession, but it turned out that all she wanted was to ask him to sing the anthem at Arcane's funeral in the morning. Your heroics at the zoo, combined with the fact that you're the only one who knows the words, make you the faculty's first choice. Yeah, no, I'd be honored, of course, he replied. Good. Satria slurped at something, causing ice to clink in her glass, and then she came up for air. How are things with your tribute? Coriolanus hesitated. To complain might seem childish, like he couldn't handle his own problems. He almost never asked for Satria's help, but then he thought of Lucy Gray buckling under the weight of her chains and threw caution to the wind. Not well, actually. I saw Lucy Gray today just for a moment, and she's very weak. The capital hasn't fed her at all. Since she left the district? Why, that's been, 4 days? Satria asked, surprised. 5. I don't think she's going to make it to the Hunger Games. I'm not even going to have a tribute to Mentor, he said. Actually, a lot of us won't. Well, that's not fair. That's like telling you to do an experiment with broken equipment, she responded. And now that the games will be delayed, at least... You okay? I know, it's crazy, Jamie, how fast they grow. It's crazy. It blows my mind. I can't believe she's 4 months already, and that she's like 2 feet long.
And now that the games will be delayed at least another day or two, she paused and then added, well, let me see what I can do. He hung up and he turned to Tigress. They want me to sing at the funeral. She didn't mention Clemencia. They must be keeping it a secret. Then that's what you'll do, too, said Tigress. Maybe they'll just pretend that the whole thing didn't happen. Yeah, maybe they won't even tell Dean Highbottom, he said, brightening. Then another thought hit him. Hey, Tigress, I just remembered I can't really sing. And somehow this was the funniest thing either of them had ever heard. The grandmamma, however, thought that this was no laughing matter, and the following morning she had him up at dawn so she could coach him. At the end of every line she would poke at him in his ribs with a ruler and shout, breathe, until he couldn't imagine making any other choice. For the third time that week she sacrificed one of her darlings to his future and pinned a light blue rosebud to his carefully pressed jacket uniform, saying, there, it matches your eyes. Looking sharp with a full belly of oatmeal and a rib cage dotted with bruises reminding him to inhale, he set off for the academy. Although it was Saturday, the entire student body reported to homeroom before they assembled on the front steps of the academy, divided neatly and alphabetically by class. By virtue of his assignment, Coriolanus found himself in the front row with the faculty and distinguished guests. First and foremost, President Ravenstill. Satria had given him a quick overview of the program, but the only thing that stuck in his head was that his rendition of the anthem opened the ceremonies. He didn't mind public speaking, but he had never sung publicly. There was very little occasion to do so in Panem. It was one reason that Lucy Gray's song had caught people's attention. He calmed his nerves by reminding himself that even if he howled like a dog, there wasn't really much to compare him to. Across the avenue, the temporary stand set up for the funeral procession quickly filled with mourners dressed in black, the one color everyone could count on having given the loss of loved ones during the war. He looked for the cranes, but he couldn't spot them in the crowd. The academy and the surrounding buildings were festooned with funeral banners and sported Capitol flags in every window. Numerous cameras were positioned to record the event, and multiple Capitol TV reporters streamed live commentary. Coriolanus thought that it was quite a display for Arcane, disproportionate to both her life and her death, the latter of which could have been avoided if she had refrained from being such an exhibitionist. So many people had died heroically in the war with so little recognition that this grated on him. He was relieved that he was singing instead of having to praise her talents, which, if memory served, were limited to being loud enough to fill the school auditorium without a mic and the ability to balance a spoon on her nose. Dean Highbottom had accused him of showboating. Still, he reminded himself she was practically family. The academy clock struck 9, and the crowd fell silent. On cue, Coriolanus rose and walked to the podium. Satria had promised accompaniment, but the silence stretched so long that he actually drew a breath to begin the anthem before the tinny version began to play over the sound system, giving him 16 measures of introduction. Gen of Panem, mighty city, through the ages you shine anew. His singing was more like sustained talking than a melodic tour de force, but the song was not particularly challenging. The high note that the grandmamma consistently missed was optional. Most people sang it in a lower octave. With the memory of her ruler prodding him, he sailed through it, never missing a note or even running out of breath. He sat to generous applause and an approving nod from the president, who now took the podium. 2 days ago, Arcane Crane's young and precious life was ended, and so we mourn another victim of those criminal rebellion that yet besieges us, the president intoned. Her death was as valiant as any on the battlefield, her loss more profound as we claim to be at peace, but no peace will exist while this disease eats away at what is good and noble in our country. Today, we honor her sacrifice with a reminder that while the evil still exists, it does not prevail, and once again, we bear witness as our great capital brings justice to Panem. Okay. I don't know if you all saw yesterday for Memorial Day, our not so distinguished orange person had a Memorial Day tweet, if you will. I don't follow that person, of course, but I saw it reposted, and this sounds an awful lot like that. Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird how similar it sounds? Interesting. Yeah. Fan behavior, am I right? You know what, Jen? I'm gonna say something. I don't actually think someone else writes those for him. I really don't. I don't think that anyone has enough control to take that phone away, because otherwise we wouldn't have had Kofifi. You guys remember Kofifi? We wouldn't have had Kofifi if he had writers for those. I think that those come from his demented little brain. I really do. And I think it's proven by the caps lock wackadoodle nature of them. Yes, that's different, Amanda. That part is different. Anything that has any kind of condolence or whatever to it. But when you see like the thing from yesterday, I was like, no, that definitely came from his Demento pants. But anyway, it sounds a lot like this. Yeah, for real. The caps lock is hilarious. I mean, like, and I say hilarious in the sad way, obviously, you all know that. But anyway, we'll keep going, but it's interesting to be reading this series in the light of everything that's going on, right? I mean, I know I say that all the time. I said it when we were reading The Once and Future Witches. I guess, and I know we all agree on this, and like, I don't need to tell you all, but it bears saying, do you guys remember at the end of last year when there was this whole argument where like a lot of people from the other side were like, book talk shouldn't be political. Why do you have to make reading so political? It's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just reading the words on the page. Yes, the act of reading is inherently political because book banning and book burning still exists. So yes, the act, and for a woman, the act of learning to read in general is almost a political statement because it took so long to get that right. So I will continue to read until I lose the ability, which hope never happens. Honestly, I hope I pass away quietly in my bed before I stop being able to read. I don't want to reach that point. I'm going to be honest with you. Pass away quietly in my bed before I stop being able to read. I don't want to reach that point. I'm going to be honest with you. I just want to go quietly while I still have my faculties. I'll probably be around 95, 99, somewhere in that range if my grandmothers show anything. That's not the point. Let's keep going. The drums began a slow and deep boom, and the crowd turned as the funeral procession rounded the corner onto the street. Although not as wide as the Corso, Scholars Road held the honor of the Peacekeeper Guard, standing shoulder to shoulder, 20 wide and 40 deep, that stepped in flawless uniform to the rhythm of the drums. Coriolanus had wondered about the strategy of telling the districts about a tribute killing a capital girl, and now he saw the point. Behind the peacekeepers came a long, flatbed truck with a crane affixed to it. High in the air, the bullet-ridden body of the District 10 girl, Brandy, dangled from its hook. Yes, audiobooks forever, of course. Shackled to the truck bed, looking utterly filthy and defeated, were the remaining 23 tributes. The length of their restraints made it impossible to stand, so either they crouched or they sat on the bare metal floor. This was just another chance to remind the districts that they were inferior and that there would be repercussions for their resistance. He could see Lucy Gray trying to hold a shred of dignity, sitting upright as the chains would allow, and gazing straight ahead, ignoring the corpse swinging gently over her head. But it was no use. The dirt, the shackles, the display, it was too much to overcome. He tried to imagine conducting himself under those circumstances, until he realized that this was undoubtedly what Sejanus was doing, and he snapped out of it. Another battalion of peacekeepers followed the tributes, paving the way for a quartet of horses. They were decked out in garlands and pulled an ornate wagon with pure white coffin draped in flowers. Behind the coffin came the Cranes, riding in a horse-drawn chariot. At least her family had the decency to look uncomfortable. The procession halted when the coffin drew up in front of the podium. Dr. Gall, who had been sitting next to the president, approached the mic. Coriolanus thought it was a mistake to let her speak at such a moment, but she
Oops. But she must have left the crazy lady and her pink snake bracelets at home, because she spoke with a stern and intelligent clarity. Arcane Crane, we, your fellow citizens of Panem, vow that your death will not be in vain. When one of ours is hit, we hit back twice as hard. The Hunger Games will go forward with more energy and commitment than ever before, and as we add your name to the long list of innocents who died defending the righteous and just land, your friends and fellow citizens salute you and dedicate the 10th Hunger Games to your memory. Oh, thank you, Julia. So now that Loudmouth Arcane was a defender of righteous and just land, yes, she did lay down her life taunting her tribute with a sandwich, thought Coriolanus. Maybe her gravestone could read, Casualty of Cheap Laughs. A row of peacekeepers in red sashes lifted their guns and sent several volleys over the procession when they rolled down a few blocks and disappeared around a corner. As the crowd thinned, several people took a pained look on Coriolanus's face for sorrow at Arcane's death, when ironically he felt like killing her all over again. Still, he felt like he'd handled himself well until he turned to find Dean Highbottom looking down at him. My condolences on the loss of your friend, said the dean. And on your student. It's a difficult day for all of us, but the procession was very moving, Coriolanus replied. Oh, did you think so? I found it excessive and in poor taste, said Dean Highbottom. Taken by surprise, Coriolanus let out a laugh before he recovered and tried to look shocked. The dean dropped his gaze to Coriolanus's blue rosebud. It's amazing how little things change. After all the killing, after all the agonized promise to remember the cost, after all, I can't distinguish a bud from a blossom. He gave the rose a tap with his forefinger, adjusting the angle, and smiled. Oh, don't be late to lunch. I do hear we're having pie. The only good thing about that encounter was it turned out there really was pie. Peach this time, at the special buffet in the school dining hall. Unlike on the day of the reaping, Coriolanus loaded his plate with fried chicken and took the largest wedge of pie he could find. He slathered his biscuits with butter and had 3 refills of grape punch, filling the glass so much that it spilled over and stained his linen napkin, sopping it up. Let the people talk. The chief mourner needed sustenance, but even as he ate, he recognized it as a sign that his usual gift for self-control was eroding. He blamed it on Dean Highbottom and his continual harassment. What was he babbling on about today anyway? Buds? Blossoms? He should be locked up somewhere, or even better, deported to a far-off outpost to leave the decent capital people in peace. Just the thought of him sent Coriolanus back for more pie. Sejanus, however, poked at his chicken and biscuits without taking even one bite. If Coriolanus had disliked the funeral parade, it seemed to have been misery for Sejanus. They'll report you if you throw out that food, Coriolanus reminded him. He wasn't crazy about the guy, but he didn't particularly want to see him punished. Right, said Sejanus, but he still seemed unable to down more than a sip of his punch. As the luncheon was finished up, Satria gathered the 22 active mentors to inform them not only were the Hunger Games still on, that they were supposed to be the most visible yet. With this in mind, they were escorted to their tributes on a tour of the arena that very afternoon. It was to be aired live to the entire country, somehow driving home the resolution that Dr. Gall had made at the funeral. The head game maker felt that separating the capital kids from the district ones suggested weakness, as if we were too afraid of our enemies to be in the presence. The tributes would be handcuffed, but not fully shackled. The peacekeepers, top shooters, would be amongst the guards, but the mentors were to be seen side by side with their classmates. With their charges. I read down one. The mentors were to be seen side by side with their charges. Coriolanus could sense some reluctance among his classmates. Several of their parents had lodged complaints about the shoddy security after Arcane's death, but no one spoke up, not wanting to seem overly cowardly. The whole thing seemed dangerous and ill-advised to him. What would prevent the other tributes from turning on their mentors? He would never say anything about it, though. A part of him wondered if Dr. Gall wasn't hoping for another act of violence so she could punish another tribute, maybe a live one this time in front of the cameras. This further display of Dr. Gall's callousness made him feel mutinous. He glanced over at Sejanus's plate. Are you all done? I can't eat today, said Sejanus. I don't know what to do with this. Their section had emptied, and under the table Coriolanus spread his stained linen napkin on his lap. He felt even more delinquent when he realized it was emblazoned with the capital steel. Hey, look, put it here, he said with a furtive glance, and Sejanus looked around and quickly transported the chicken and biscuits into the napkin. Coriolanus gathered it up to stuff the whole thing into his book bag. They're not allowed to take food from the dining hall, and certainly not for a tribute, but where else could he get something before the tour? Lucy Gray couldn't eat the stuff in front of the cameras, but her dress had deep pockets. He resented that half of his takings would go to Jessup now, but maybe that investment would pay off when the games began. Thanks, you're quite the rebel, said Sejanus as they carried their trays to the conveyor belt and then ran to the kitchen. Bad news, all right, said Coriolanus. The mentors piled into a few academy vans and headed for the Capitol Arena, which had been built across the river to prevent the crowds from swamping downtown. In its heyday, this huge state-of-the-art amphitheater had been the site of many an exciting sporting, entertainment, or military event. High-profile executions of the enemy were staged here during the war, making it a target for rebel bombers. While the original structure stood, it was battered and unstable now and only useful as a venue for the games. The lush field of meticulously tended grass had died from neglect. It was riddled with bomb craters, with weeds providing only greenery on the expanse of dirt. Rubble from the explosions, chunks of metal and stone lay everywhere, and 15-foot wall that encircled the field was fissured and pockmarked from the shrapnel. Each year, the tributes would be locked in there with nothing but an arsenal of knives, swords, maces, and the like to facilitate bloodshed while the audience watched from home. At the end of the games, the one who managed to survive would be shipped back to their district, the bodies removed, the weapons collected, the doors locked until the following year. No maintenance, no cleanup. Wind and rain might wash away the bloodstains, but the capital hands would not. It's not the end of the chapter, but unfortunately, like I said, we do have a doctor's appointment, so I have to skadooch. But we will finish the rest of that chapter and read the full next chapter tomorrow. Thank you for your patience while we dealt with someone who very much needed a nap. I won't mention any names. So anyway, like I said, as long as she reacts well to her vaccination that she has to get today, like I said, it's just one, reacts well to her vaccination that she has to get today, like I said, it's just one shot today. Last time she had to have 2 things. Good luck, Roxy. But if she handles it well today, I'll be on live later. If she doesn't handle it well, I will not be on live later, but we will see what happens. If you are a person who has a Patreon membership, I haven't made the link yet, Amanda, but I'm letting everyone exchange their memberships first, and then I will list the remaining restock. So if anyone wants to exchange, like for example, someone who has a grab bag for June that they haven't used yet, if you want to get that and one of the restock claims, you can get that first, and then I'll list the restock things, because that way I don't have to pay. The reason I'm doing it that way is because I have to pay, just so you guys know, when you list things on Squarespace or do things on Patreon or whatever, there's a processing fee. So if I let you exchange it, I only have to pay 1 processing fee instead of 2. You know what I'm saying? That's why I let people do that sometimes, because having both means paying processing for the credit card twice. So that's why I do it that way sometimes. So anyway, that is what I will do. I'm hoping to get that finished today so that I can post what's left for restock tomorrow, so they can all be mailed out Thursday and Friday, because we leave on Saturday. So that is the whole kit and caboodle. But yes, anyone who wants anything from the restock in exchange for a grab bag, for let me actually clarify for anyone who is seeing this either now or later. If you are, for example, like Gigi, a member of Sparkle Pop, you get the Slime of the Month. If you say no, that next month's Slime of the Month doesn't appeal to you, you said it's a Femo Bomb, I don't want a Femo Bomb, I like white glue slimes. They haven't come in yet, Gigi. I'm hoping they arrive tomorrow. Cross your fingers. I did order them though. They're getting so hard to find, you guys. So for example, Gigi gets the Slime of the Month. Let's say you don't like
Fimo bombs. You don't want a clear slime, you want a white glue slime. So you can DM me and you can say, hey, I'd like to exchange my slime of the month for that. Slime of the month isn't like grab bag. Slime of the month is worth more monetarily than grab bag, both by size, the fact that it comes with a special charm, etc. So you don't just get one slime, you get 2 slimes in exchange for your slime of the month. So like grab bag is just one. It's like a 4 ounce or a 6 ounce slime, depending on what I have in stock. But slime of the month is worth 2 8 ounce slimes or 4 4 ounce slimes. You know what I'm saying? So like you can get a lot of stuff in exchange for that monetarily if we're exchanging it dollar for dollar. So especially if you have a lot of kids in the house, sometimes it's worth it to exchange the one to get 4 little ones to give each one their own. It's good stuff, right? Cost-wise, that's kind of how it balances out. So if anyone is seeing this, like I said, either now or later, you can do that. And the same goes for Roll for Slime. Hey, Danielle, we're just about to get off, but I just want to say hi anyway. So I will see you all later as long as our vaccination goes well. And if it doesn't, I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.